No one believes in ghosts until they encounter one. Almont, Ontario, a tranquil farming community. Claim to fame, birthplace of the man who invented basketball. A place with a community spirit epitomized by volunteer fire brigade captain Art Brown.
Everybody knows your brother, your sister, your father, your aunt, your uncle, your grandparents, your great-grandparents, and everybody cares about each other.
But in the summer of 2002, the peace of this trusting community is suddenly shattered. Someone is setting fires. Someone who strikes without being seen. An arsonist who will become known as the Ghost. In true crime, investigation and conviction may take years. But every detective knows that the crucial clue is always there, somewhere in the first 72 hours. July 3rd, 2002. Earl and Marilyn Snedden are closing up their barn for the evening, never imagining their night is just beginning.
The first fire was discovered about 7:30 in the evening. So then we rushed over with hoses and pails and stuff and called the fire department.
The Almont Volunteer Fire Brigade answers the call. In living rooms throughout the community, fire radios crackle out the location. The Snedden farm just outside of town. The wall of a barn is smoldering and could catch fire at any moment. Fortunately, the volunteers will put it out before it spreads. In the barn, Fire Chief Art Brown finds a road flare, what any car owner might carry to light up an accident scene at night. It's also the perfect tool for an arsonist, because a road flare is like a long burning match.
You light them and it gives you 20 minutes before they're completely burnt. So maybe from the time he's setting them, it's giving them time to get away.
After the sun goes down, under the cover of darkness, at the very same barn,
2 o'clock in the morning, a couple of truck drivers stopped and started banging on the door and got the dog shouting at us, and we get up out of bed and look out the window and we see about a 60-foot blaze. Unless you've experienced, I don't think you really know what it feels like to look out your window and see a fire like that so close to your house.
When I left my house, I just come onto the highway and I could see the glow in the sky.
I guess it's the biggest terror I've ever felt. You just sort of feel kind of numb because there isn't anything you can really do except stand there and watch.
the men fighting this fire are all local heroes. No matter what's going on in their personal lives, they show up.
Stop, what's wrong? This valve's loose.
Every man has earned a handle. Scarface Rollins was scorched in a car fire. Macho Man Mackenzie once punched his way through a burning wall. Smiley Edwards keeps smiling no matter what. Retired fireman Gibby Drummond once pulled Art Brown from a burning building. After 5 hours, the firefighters and the farmers admit defeat and start looking for answers.
They knew it was arson the first time, and we pretty well figured it had to be the second time.
The arsonist's assault on Almont isn't over. It's just beginning. "72 hours after the first fire, 3 buildings are charred rubble, and local police have yet to uncover a single suspect.
You must be dealing with a ghost because nobody seems to see anything. If they did see something, they didn't realize they'd seen something. People were very nervous. They were, especially farmers, they were scared to leave home.
To an insurance adjuster, these smoldering timbers are property damage. But to a farmer, the loss goes deeper. Barns are essential for a farmer's livestock, livelihood, and the health of the entire community. Farmers begin locking doors and boarding up windows. The trusting community is changing.
You hated to become that paranoid and that suspicious, but that's really what the whole community became before the summer was over.
The ghost continues to strike, unseen. The firefighters respond to call after call.
We worked all day, and then we get a call about 10 or 11 o'clock at night, and we're out all night fighting this fire, and they had to go back to their regular jobs the next day. I think I had one stretch there at 39 hours without any sleep, so you're just going on adrenaline now. So it took a toll.
Always one step behind the fire setter. The men are dangerously exhausted, but they know they have to stay focused if they are to defeat the arsonist and save their community. Somehow, Art Brown and his volunteers keep going, and so does the ghost. Earl Snedden is horrified to see smoke coming out of his second barn, a cattle barn.
But we still don't know why he picked on us, or whether it was just because the building was so close to the road and an old building that was easy to get started.
He tries to fight the fire alone.
I was trying to ask my 65-year-old legs to move like I was still 20, and they couldn't do it, and so my hamstring got pulled and my leg let me collapse to the pavement. I couldn't hardly move because of the hamstring, and trying to get the fire out, and somehow we managed to hop over the fence and we got it under control.
During the first 3 weeks of July, Almont farmers endure 10 major barn fires. Realizing they can't catch the arsonist alone, local police call for help. It arrives on July 25th, a regional task force headed by Detective Gary Doherty.
We connected fires number 1 through 5, 6, and 7, because what we were finding is that they were occurring primarily in the evening, primarily in a very tight radius. We were recovering some evidence of road flares.
The targets are all old barns accessible by road. None are near where people live. A pattern is emerging in the ghost's movements.
The frustration was, why can't somebody see them? I mean, why aren't we getting information coming in that would identify a vehicle, that would identify a person?
As tension and fear increases in the community, the arsonist does something no one expects. He changes his pattern. August 4th. Not a barn, but a house on the edge of town. A house owned by a longtime Almont resident, Jimmy Grace. A passerby spots smoke.
We're called out to the Grace fire, and I can tell you on my arrival, I was worried. I looked at this farmhouse and I said, this is a new ball game.
A new game, played where people live and where people can die. The ghost has just raised the stakes. In the town of Almont, Ontario, an arsonist known as the Ghost has just tried and failed to burn down a home on the edge of town. However, when Detective Doherty learns that the house is uninhabited, he realizes that the ghost has targeted the place intentionally, and that tells him something very important.
That property had been abandoned for 40 years. So the only person who would have the knowledge that that was abandoned was someone local.
Inside the house, Doherty recovers a large number of flares. Not burnt out as at previous fires, but pristine specimens. Doherty sees that they are not the common commercial variety available to car owners. Only professional emergency crews have access to this type of flare.
And so we had to take a look at this from the perspective this way. Are we dealing with a firefighter or are we dealing with a police officer?
The revelation that the arsonist may be very close to home, perhaps even a member of his fire brigade, is particularly difficult for Fire Chief Art Brown. Detective Doherty offers Art Brown a way to find out if the ghost is a police officer or a fireman. He will put marked flares in police cars if Art Brown will do the same in his fire trucks. Art Brown hates to sneak around, hates to deceive men he holds in the highest respect, but it's the only way to rule them out.
He was more than willing to assist us, somewhat shocked that we were taking a look at his department, but tempered by the fact that we were doing the same thing with ours.
Detective Doherty doesn't rely on the flares alone. He turns to behavioral profiler Jim Van Allen to understand the mind of the ghost.
I believe that there was something missing out of this individual's life, and the setting of the fires replaced that need for excitement that this individual had. And that would translate to somebody who is overly enthusiastic, somebody who appeared overly inquisitive, somebody who demonstrated those risk-taking behaviors. They have a need to see the damage that they've committed, and for some of them, they tend to involve themselves in the investigation as well.
As the investigation continues, so do the fires. August 26th, on the outskirts of Almont, a jogger notices a smoking hay bale. She spots a red SUV. And then she finds a flare. She immediately calls police, who take it to the fire chief.
Two of the officers came in and I knew just when they walked in my office, the look on their face, that something is wrong here. Do I want to hear what they're going to say? And we have good news and we get bad news. Good news, it is a marked flare. The bad news, it came out of your vehicles. Well, you could have hit me with the head with the sleds in.
Art Brown has to discreetly investigate all his men and create a profile for each, so that Doherty can compare them to the profile of the arsonist.
It's hard for me to not be able to tell my fellow firefighters what is going on, and they were getting frustrated, and so it was hard on them too.
15 fires in 8 weeks. No end in sight. And still no suspect.
He was able to strike, and he just could do it so fast and get away that nobody could seem to catch him. That was the frustrating part.
The community was adamant that they could not understand why we hadn't caught this individual. And the media put pressure on us by asking the same question: why can't we catch him?
Police get an urgent call from someone claiming to have important new information. It's retired firefighter Gibby Drummond. Gibby thinks he might have seen the ghost just 2 days ago. As he put flowers on his mother's grave, he saw a truck loaded with loud teens. Later, he realized that the teens drove past him just after the start of a fire at the Gleason farm, one of the last places set ablaze. Drummond insists, "I didn't see them put a torch to it, but I would swear on a stack of Bibles. Seems pretty damn suspicious to me." But Doherty doesn't buy Gibby's story.
If kids had been committing these fires, we would have known after fire number 1, because kids, although they have this code that they think exists, that they never tell the police, they can't help but talk and tell someone.
Gibby thinks the investigators are handling things all wrong. "We gotta work together on this. We're a team," he says. "We have to catch these guys before they kill somebody." But Doherty now has questions about Gibby Drummond himself.
There were 50-some odd volunteers that we had conversations with every day about the fires. And no one was animated, no one was upset, no one went sideways on us, no one went nuclear, if you will. But it's Mr. Drummond on a rant that we have to catch this individual. That just was not right. It did not sit well with any of us.
An angry citizen impatient with the police? Or is Gibby Drummond trying to tell them something else? After a curious encounter with retired firefighter Gibby Drummond, Detective Doherty asks himself, could he be a possible suspect?
He certainly satisfied our big three. He's a current volunteer, access to flares, and certainly matches a number, if not a vast majority, of the behavioral profile.
But when he outlines his suspicions to Art Brown, the fire chief is positive he's pointing the finger at the wrong man.
I say I've known him for over 40 years. I've worked with him, fought fires with him. He got a bit excited at the time, but that's just Gibby, because he got an adrenaline rush out of fighting, and he was really great at his job.
Not just great at his job. He once saved Art Brown's life.
I went right through the roof, and I went right to the neck, and he just came down with that big hand. He just grabbed me by the shoulder and pulled me back, pulled me right up in one shot, and he still doesn't know how he done it.
Heroism aside, there's another reason that Art Brown is convinced that Gibby could not be the ghost. 5 years ago, a terrible accident left him permanently injured.
Like the pain was so bad that like his stomach would actually turn from the pain. And they started giving medication, and he was on so much medication.
Gibby is still haunted by that night. Up a ladder with an axe. Up a ladder in full gear to protect him from the searing heat. And at the top, a window. Behind the window, a young couple. He swings his axe and strikes the glass. Explosion. He's falling. The young couple perishes in the flames. Gibby's body lies shattered on the ground. The detective begins to reconsider his suspicions about Drummond.
You had to be physically able to go to some of the locations where we had flares recovered. Mr. Drummond, Gib Drummond, was physically incapable of doing this.
Nevertheless, Gibby Drummond, the prime suspect, is kept under 24-hour police surveillance.
Well, one of the nights that we have him under surveillance, a fire call comes in, unrelated. He goes down the street like a jackrabbit. So, contrary to what the community believed, and even his family, he was not as physically incapable as he was leading everyone to believe.
Everything points to Drummond, but that's not the same thing as proof, not even close.
Because frankly, and it's terrible to say, if we were going to successfully resolve this investigation and catch this person, we needed to catch him in the act, and we needed more fires.
After 10 days of surveillance, on September 16th, police followed Drummond down a side road. Gibby Drummond, the hero, the victim, the prime suspect. For all the circumstantial evidence, for all the psychological profiling, the investigators do not know for certain Gibby Drummond is the ghost. Until now. In the first 72 hours of the investigation, police found a burnt-out flare. But it took 10 weeks to connect the flares to Gibby Drummond, who was hiding in plain sight all along. They read him his rights in front of his second car, a red SUV. It's a shock to the community, but especially to Art Brown.
These guys become part of your family. You know, you share so much together. You know, and it's very hard to accept that someone would do this to you.
Art Brown now realizes what his friend has done and how he did it. Gibby would light the flares, knowing he had time to get back home and wait for the radio call to announce his own fires. Arriving at the scene, Gibby would help out any way he could, sharing with his comrades the adrenaline of the moment. It was something he needed, his own mock heroics to compensate for his tragic failure the night the young couple died. In the end, he betrayed everyone he knew.
I gotta separate my profession from my friendship, which is hard. You know, say time heals, but...
When he pleaded guilty, he begged forgiveness of the court and his family and firefighters everywhere, but he didn't mention the victims, which I thought he might have.
Haunted by his own demons, Gibby Drummond had terrorized the people of Almont for the last time. He was charged and pled guilty to 8 counts of arson. He remains in prison to this day. The stories on 72 Hours are true. The detectives and forensic scientists are the ones who actually worked on the case. The names of the victims are fictitious. The names of the convicted are real.